Well, greetings, Founding Lifetime members, and it's nice to see you again. Today, this week, we're going to talk about beliefs and working specifically with non-serving beliefs. Remember that beliefs are neither good, bad, right, wrong, up, down, any of it. There's no need to put any judgment on the beliefs we have. The only question when it comes to beliefs is, do they serve us or don't they? And that's easy to answer when in the context of a particular intention or set of intentions. In other words, can I have what I'm wanting, can I go where I want to go, and still have this belief or this set of beliefs that I have? Oftentimes the answer is no. So then we're at a choice point, choices abound. What am I going to do? Compromise my intention? I don't really want that. It's okay if I don't get it. It's okay if I don't have it. It's okay if I don't do that. Or change the belief. So we talk about changing beliefs all the time, and I thought it would make sense this week to just go over some of the specific things that we can do. So I'm starting from the premise that we all understand what a belief sounds like. I can't. I can. I will never. It can't. It is always. So things like that. And I'm not going to go in depth here into what a belief sounds like again, because I think that you all know. So what I want to do is review some of the things. Okay, I've got this belief. It clearly doesn't serve me, but how do I get rid of it? And again, there's no one way to do any of this, but I want to concentrate on a few. I want to go over the process that I took from Avatar, Harry Palmer's course that he developed back in the 80s. We'll go through that process, and then I also want to go through tapping, and those will be the primary things that we'll do. So you've got a belief that doesn't serve. Let's say, I will never be happy. Let's just work with that one today. I will never be happy. Now, one thing that I would certainly recommend to anybody is check into the work of Byron Katie. You've probably heard me say that before. You can Google the work, and she has a fantastic process for getting present and working with non-serving beliefs. That's one thing to do. This process from the Avatar course, I'm going to take you through those steps. You likely have seen this before and maybe not. So when you're holding that belief, I will never get happy, here are the steps to go through in this one particular process. What I like about this is it really talks to that idea of how everything is energy, and the beliefs we have are just thoughts that we think over and over again. Thoughts are things. Everything is energy. Energy doesn't get created or destroyed. It just changes form. So this process kind of illustrates that. So you first start holding the belief, I will never be happy. And you just kind of repeat it in your head a bunch of times. Get into that space. I will never be happy. I will never be happy. I will never be happy. Okay, got it. Now the second step is to just let it drop down and rest somewhere in your body, and move from thinking about it to really feeling that belief. And this is the crux of this particular process, to step into the degree to which we identify with that belief on a feeling level. And we just feel it, whether it rests here or here or here, it doesn't matter. It'll find its way and rest somewhere in your body. And again, shift from thinking about it to feeling what it feels like. What does that thought feel like? And it's not going to feel good. If we're working with a non-serving belief, it's just not going to feel good. But this process asks us to sit in that space for a while. I like to think that the worse it feels in this phase, the better it'll feel later when we release it. So you move from thinking about it to feeling it. And now you imagine that that feeling is going to expand, as we've said, beyond the confines of your body. So in front of you and behind you, to your right and to your left and above you and below you. Really let that energy, that feeling that's associated with the thought, expand and be as big as it needs to be. This is where we say, maybe it'll fill the room, the building, the town you're in, the street, the city, the state, the country, the oceans, the planet. Let it go and grow and be as big as it needs to be, and just feel yourself now within that. And when you can feel its edges, when you can feel that it has stopped expanding, that's where you say, okay, what do I now need to do to extricate myself from this? Can I imagine myself? Some of us very much see it, some of us very much feel it, or anything in between. Can I do something to creatively get myself to where I'm outside of this massive energy? Once you've done that, and again, maybe you feel it, maybe you actually see it in your mind's eye, you can see now that you're outside of it, and that's where you do this kind of dialogue, where the first thing that makes the most sense to say is, this is not me. So you're kind of addressing this energy. This is not me. This is my creation. Feels like me, but it's not me. I'm separate from it. I picked it up somewhere along the way, and I know it doesn't serve me. This is not me. So again, you just want to get into that space of, wow, this isn't me. I'm separate from this thing, and have that dialogue, and say anything you need to say to it. Then, the fun part, just employing whatever imaginary means or assistance you need, angels, TNT, whatever, you want to blow that thing up. Or not blow it up, you just want to make it go away. However you choose to do that. And once you can make it go away in your mind's eye, or you see it, or you feel it, you just want to make sure there's also no debris, and it's completely gone. And then you kind of come back, and you kind of repeat that initial belief, I will never be happy, and kind of see how it feels now compared to when you started. Most likely, and if we got it right, you won't be identifying with it. It will have lost its charge completely, or somewhat, at least to some degree. And then the very next thing you want to do is replace that belief. So, I will never be happy might be able to become, I am always happy. Or whatever you can reach for that is at least neutral. So maybe if you can't go all the way to I am always happy from I will never be happy, perhaps you can do that old, up until now I have believed that I will never be happy. Do you feel how that just kind of neutralizes that thought? And then you can go from there. So having, at the end of that process, the new belief in place is a very important piece of the whole process. And you might want to do that process again and again. If there's still, yeah, the charge is less, but it's still there, then do it again. And the charge is less, but it's still there, and do it again. That's okay. Now another phase, so that's the avatar process. But it bleeds into another thing to do when you're working with discreating a non-serving belief, which is to have the new belief at the ready. So this is what you can do all day, every day, when you're driving around, when you're taking a shower, when you're talking to a friend, and an old non-serving belief that you're working on comes in. When you have the new belief at the ready, you can immediately just switch to it. Everything's energy. I thought that and believed that up until this second, and now I'm thinking and believing something new. Be present. There is no past, there is no future. Right now, I believe this new thought, but you have to have the new thought ready. So I am always happy. Now that idea, so that's two ways so far, bleeds into the next idea, which is I am always happy. Oh crap, I don't believe that. So in that moment, here's a belief you want to have, you're reaching toward it, you're striving for it, you're working on it, but you're not there yet. So this is where tapping, again, comes in really handy. So even though right now I don't believe that I'm always happy, or that I'm always going to be happy, I love and accept myself completely, even though right now it seems ridiculous to be thinking or saying that I'm always happy. I love and accept myself completely. So tapping, EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, also known as tapping, is a way to really break through that. And again, we've talked about this before, you just want to state what is real. I want to believe this, but I just can't. There's so many pieces of evidence in my life that show me that I'm just not going to be a happy person. Maybe I'm just not supposed to be happy. Maybe happiness is not what I'm here to experience this time. I'm just not sure that I'm ever going to be happy. Happiness is for other people. And then as you go with the tapping, you just want to see where it takes you. And all of a sudden a new thought comes in. Well, I guess I could be happy. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like everybody else. I have every right to happiness. You see what I mean? And you just kind of start to go. I can't tell you how that's going to go for you. I can tell you how to set it up, even though I don't believe right now that I can be happy. That's how you set it up. And then just follow where it takes you. So again, working with non-serving beliefs, it's important to leave the judgment out. Be compassionate with yourself. The belief you have every right to have. It probably comes from years of experience. Again, the only question is, does that belief serve you? Can you get to where you're going and still have that belief? So if you can't, Byron Katie's work, the process of just imagining it as energy, separating from it, discreating it, it's a beautiful way to go. Having the new belief at the ready and switching it every single time. The old belief, I'll never be happy, boom, I'm always happy. I'll never be happy, boom, I'm always happy. And just switching that in your mind. Remember, fundamentally, this is all about changing how we think. And if you've thought one way for decades and decades, you got to give yourself a little time and space to switch that thought. And then finally, using tapping. So these are some fantastic ways that you can work with non-serving beliefs. I know that none of them are new to you, but I wanted to kind of put them all into this week's video for a convenient package, if you will, of how to work with non-serving beliefs. So that's it for today. That's it for this week. See you next week. And thanks so much again for being a founding lifetime member. And I'm coming home. I'll be in Idlewild in LA for the first 2 weeks of December. I'll email you with more about that. So until we meet again.